Well, peeps, we're back at it. It's been a minute. Got my buddy Dave back on here. And sorry we haven't lived up to our weekly. But Dave's been real busy with school. I've been real busy with life, changed companies, and had people moving in and out. And it's been really exciting. But Dave, happy post Thanksgiving from us Americans. And happy post Thanksgiving from us Canadians. How are you, babe?
Yeah, something that I don't experience too much here in Vienna. Not a lot of Thanksgiving celebration. We're having a turkey dinner actually this week for fun, just to have one because I never had one. So that's gonna be fun.
No
So
Euros do it?
no Euros do it. No, they don't have that. They're big on Easter. Easter's huge here, and Christmas is big, but not like North American consumer big.
Right.
And a lot of social. Like we've got the Christmas markets open now in Vienna, and it's like let's just go for a drink like 3-4 times a week. Like it just seems
Well, I
like
thought
whether
that
it's
was Euro
student,
anyway.
that's Euro, but it's
Right.
not like a Thanksgiving weekend. It's like a Christmas market season, and you've got these 2 months. It's just like Christmas market after Christmas market, and it's pretty cool. But the Glühwein, that red wine with sugar, is you don't want to wake up after a few of those. A
A little
little bit
hangover.
tough.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like I said all along, European lifestyle I think is number one, and we need to adapt some of it to whatever extent that may be, whether it's having a few more sodas or a few less sodas, but to make it a part of your lifestyle and enjoy camaraderie. And they
yeah.
uh, they seem to enjoy it. So
Yeah. Yeah, you say that. I was looking at a job posting the other day. So I teach English here right now. I teach it in a university and I teach it to businesses. And one of these big businesses, big grocery store chain, is hiring different jobs. And one of them I probably could do. And I was looking at it, and it's like you get paid 12 months a year, 2 months you get double pay, you get 6 weeks vacation, the most stat holidays out of any country in the world, 30 days a year I could work abroad from Canada, and I only have to work from the office 13 days a month
hmm.
to start.
It's Canadian business.
No, that's a world. It's a global grocery store chain.
Oh wow.
But yeah, like 30 days I could literally go back to Canada for a couple of weeks, work 2 weeks, just normal working hours, spend time in Canada, use one of my 6 weeks vacation and enroll like that. And that's normal over here. Like that's not like
Right.
abnormal. That's the norm, which is huge. Like 6 weeks vacation to start most stat holidays in the world. That's just social. That's just go enjoy your life, be with friends, stay safe, and come back and work your 35 hours a week.
Well, it's the same thing
Which
with
is
the maternity stuff, and they even have paternity, whatever, leave and whatnot.
yeah, they have a gradual, so you gradually work your way back when you're on maternity leave here too. Yeah,
Right
it's
on.
not like a hard count, like 6 months or whatever. It's like come back for 1 week, come back for 2 weeks, and then you gradually work your way back in. Yeah.
Well, speaking of family, I had Johnny Mack and actually my mom, my sister, my niece, my brother, and then of course all my kids come back into town. So
Yeah.
that was fun. We played our little Thanksgiving Cup for hockey, so that was my first time on the ice in a little bit, and had a little side
Yeah.
wager with my buddy Ping, who thought we weren't going to do anything. We ended up scoring first shift, and then somewhat beating him. So we made a little side bet with Pingy, but that was good. Had fun playing with my son, and he's back and kind of getting back at the grind down there in Raleigh. That's where he is at. I don't know if you knew that, but trying to figure out a way to get down there again. We've seen him a couple times, and Mia, my oldest, is in town doing the nursing gig, saving lives, and then Ella is getting ready to travel to Barcelona, study abroad next year or
Amazing.
next
I
semester, right?
spent Yeah, I spent 2 months in Barcelona last year, and, it was awesome, I loved it. You know what? The lifestyle in Spain is so relaxed, and everybody is so friendly. Here, Austria, not the friendliest people. Beautiful, takes a while to break people in. Barcelona is like, they're your best friends right out of the gate.
Open door.
Everything, though, is later. You gotta make sure you're having your siesta, your sleep in the afternoon. Like, people will yell at you, but You go to dinner 10:30, 11 at night. Everything
Sounds
is
like the
late,
Grease
late,
flirt
late.
we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
or a couple shows ago. But yeah, no. So she's looking forward to it. She's a free spirit and she does really well at school. So she's working her pre med. So I hope it doesn't screw up her graduation or walking with her friends. But I think she has to take a gap something because there's some course that they don't offer over there. But you can only do it once. And as I say, whether it's with sport or whatever, if last thing you want to do is have regrets down the road. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be fun for her.
Yeah, no, I promote going abroad as a student 1000% because I'm in university too, right? I'm in university at University
You're
of
still
Vienna, and
abroad.
yeah, and I and I teach university at another university. I'm kind of both ends of this, and I think it's really valuable. The students that come over abroad and the networks they build and the lives they see and hear from, it's not the same. It's not like hanging out with your same buddies at the same university in the same city in the same country, right? You come to Europe, the amount of travel that she can do and the amount of people, like it's irreplaceable. Yeah, like it's something that you're right. You would look back at and think, I wish I had done that 100%. So how long is she here for?
Uh, January 7 to end of April kind of thing.
Okay, good. So you gonna come visit?
I hope so. If
Mm,
I've got Moose's hockey that we're trying to squeeze in. Her mom's going to try and get over there. Her mom's actually getting married coming up here, so they're all coming back for that. Congrats to her and her hubby or fiance, I guess, as of right now. Um, but yeah, no, we're trying to figure out Moose's playoffs and then figure what that consists of going over to see her, and then how much that is going to be,
yeah.
but whatever.
You gotta
Um,
let me know because I can I'll slide down there and hang out for a little bit if you're here for
right.
sure. The flights are like nothing, like $40 I can get down there.
Once you're over
Return
there, yeah, it's cheap.
is a joke.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
good things to promote, going to see people, and that's what life's all about. When you talk about friends and family, and you say, "Hey, what do we do?" And this is you live once, and
Yeah.
I would say to her, like I don't get to see my girl as every weekend or whatever the case may be, but it's still even when she's only an hour and a half away, we don't even really take advantage of that. But as you touched upon, where being a student and then like when I said she was thinking about going to UFT. For those that don't know what UFT is University of Toronto, and all I've seen that is and know that is just extended high school.
Right.
And I kind of and COVID was going on and whatever, and I shared with her. I said, the last thing you want to do is miss your college experience. Well, whether it's the football games, and she's not big into that, but it's just whether it's the tailgate, whether it's the hanging
Mhm.
out with the friends, that whole experience. And then so now you take it to a new level and you go, well, which there is no football in the spring anyway. So, but how many frat parties can you go to before, you say, okay, I've done it all. And so
Yeah.
now she gets to go experience the whole other country. And I think it'll be a blast for her.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And again, once you start like the travel around here on buses and trains is so cheap and so easy that you can take a bus for a couple hours and you're in Madrid, or you can jump on a plane,
Right.
literally under $50 return, and she could fly into Venice, or she could come up and she could go into France, like just snap of her fingers, like nothing.
Barcelona to
It's
Austria is what? 40
almost
hour?
2 hours on a flight.
Oh, it is that long?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah,
I guess
yeah.
you're further north.
But but when you're flying domestic, just like in the US, you got a backpack, you're walking on, you're walking off.
Right.
And the trams are going right to the airports, and then you're in the city center for nothing. Yeah, I
Speak.
flew into Greece to Athens, 35 euros return, like
Wow.
from Vienna. It's
Nice.
nuts. Mhm.
Well, and
Yeah.
well, two things. One, I went down to see Moose play, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and we his Billett's family had some ticks to the NC State game, and then so you see, that's a whole other degree of not IU football, but NC State, who's almost ranked, blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
uh, just the experience is unreal. And then Moose looked at me and goes, "Dad, I wish I was still kind of playing some football." And I'm like, "Yeah, this is hopefully you ended up playing an outdoor game at Charlotte last week, which was fun, or right before Halloween." So that's a good experience.
Yeah.
They they had, I don't know, I think they played in a baseball stadium, but they had the eye paint on, and just an experience playing outside. It's being a hockey player, you love it.
Yeah.
Speaking
Yeah. So,
speaking of hockey, buddy, I was talking to a buddy of mine who I caught up with, the Shama. Um, this was a close friend of mine out in LA, blast from the past. Like, I didn't have his number. I just sort of connected with him on Facebook, and he had a couple accounts. So I was like, I don't know if this is the right guy, but and then he responded with Macker, and I'm like, yep, guess it's the right guy.
yeah.
But we were kind of just doing some brainstorming because I was telling you as I wanted to get some of the old hockey guys on and talk about some old, war injuries, whether it's injuries or what to do after. There's a lot of guys that are addiction or the troubles in life that you need to get through from one stage to the next. And he was talking about doing some other things. He's like, yeah, I've always wanted to do a podcast and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, we can have that discussion. And we were even talking about, doing a Manning cast kind of thing for hockey because there's, the viewership isn't as high, but then to be able to have that relation, and I've seen and I've watched the broadcast, the Manning cast over, I don't even know if you get it over there versus the regular network. And it's just those two guys talking, Eli and Peyton.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen highlights.
And so what, Spittin' Chicklets is big. I guess they're with Barstool now. Pat Mcafee is another who has gotten, and good for him. I like what he's doing. It reminds me of me, but just being a football player kind of thing. He's now ESPN. He's got his
Massive.
2-hour show. He's on
Yeah.
college football. He's on NFL football. And that all just started from his podcast here in Indy. He's an ex-punter for the Colts. And so I think he's doing great. I think he's getting a lot of exposure, and he's touching a lot of people. And he's calling out, like last week they had, what was it? I think James Madison was on there, and they were kind of getting railroaded with the NCAA. I don't know the whole detail about it. It was regarding moving from one division to the next and whatever. And they weren't going to make a bowl game, and they're undefeated or one lost team or whatever the case may be. And on ESPN's broadcast, he was like, if you don't think this is good for football or college or what, you guys are a bunch of, and then he leans back and everybody says, assholes. And guess what?
Yeah.
A week later, they got a bowl game. So
Cool. Now, somebody like him, how much work is he putting into that podcast? Right? You get ready to go down and be like 100%.
Right. No, I know. It's definitely, as I've just found out, like I thought I could pull this off 1 week, no problem. And then going through the summer and then going through someone running away and taking some things, I was like, holy cow, overwhelming. But, if that's what you need to do and where you need to get to is I reached out to Carolyn's friend, actually. Her husband is in, not ESPN, it's not TSN, it's something up there, Sports Bet or whatever the case may be. And I'm just going to bounce a few ideas off him and see what he thinks. And,
yeah,
in these circumstances, you try and get it in somewhere and see what we can do and either make people laugh, talk hockey or whatever. But when I was talking to Shummer about that and reminiscing about some old times, that was, I was pretty much crying. And so we're going to have to get him on, but he had a crazy ass parrot that would bite your finger off. And he was actually just telling me he's still got the parrot's ashes, just like you would a dog. But he had the parrot got eaten by the brother-in-law's Rottweiler or pit bull. I'm like, oh, Walter, poor Walter.
Yeah. Hey, it goes around, comes around.
He was the wingman in the car though when we bumped the Corvette into the side railing, and it was right in between Manhattan Beach and Compton. And he was the guy on the payphone looking over and saying, Mac, I thought it was in a music video looking at you in this 6-foot blonde in leather pants. But such is life in fast lane in L.A., right?
Yeah. Were you the 6-foot blonde in leather pants?
I guess I was, but I had shorts on, I think. No, that's when I took him to, back in the day, they had Miss Fitness America or whatever.
Yeah.
And we went to a little party and then brought her down to, met a friend. So met her who was Miss Hawaii or something. And so,
Yeah.
hey, we're going to a party. Come on. So the three of us jumped in the vet. And when we bounced off the guardrail, she almost flew out of the car. I had to grab her. And we were all somewhat safe. I cut my face a bit, but other than that, I had to drive the vet to get it parked and had to stand on the seat because a vet's fiberglass, so the whole front end
Yeah.
flipped up and couldn't see over that. So I stood in the front seat and Shummer leaned over and pushed the gas pedal. We were just reminiscing about that, and our old buddy, the guy I live with, found out he had a heart attack, and then found out, buddy. So whether it's an ex that kind of did something, no, it's an unsolved mystery kind of thing, and it's he sent me something on YouTube. Charlie Simone was the name, and no, he just ended up having a heart attack or something. We don't know, but there's a lot of shadiness, and it just kind of went uncovered. And that's now the second buddy of mine that, whether it's with an ex or, I had a buddy Fran who was, I don't know, 2-3 years. It's been that long, I think, at least. The ex got charged. It was fentanyl in the oatmeal or something.
What?
Yeah, dude. It's
Come
the
on.
second time this is in. So you talk about putting yourself in good positions and surround yourself with the right people, because there's some
Yeah.
evil people. And I'll tell you what, even seeing, like, when we drove around, taking the family out or whatever at around Thanksgiving or whatever the case may be, is everybody like now a Karen? Like, it's every second person. It's just like, why are you out? Well, just go back to your hole.
Yeah.
It's
Did
kind
you
of,
notice that? Is it
I
just a lot
did.
of grouchy? Is it because of economy? Is it just because of
I hear themselves speak.
weather or
I don't
being
know, but
pounded with negativity? Like what is it?
I'd have, I like I said all along, it's definitely an influence of what we've gotten, from government left and right situations, from,
Yeah.
society. And, now it seems like everybody's got this voice. And, well, yeah, we always had a voice, but you can either handle it correctly or whatever the case may be, but still be able to have an adult conversation. Like,
Yeah.
it's been, whether it's guy, if you can't drink, don't drink. If it changes who you are. If you can't fucking go out and socialize, well, then stay at home. Talk to your family and
Yeah.
relative, whatever. But I to not have the approach of making things around you better, it's just sad to see.
Now, what is it about karma? Like I believe in, you are the sum of your surroundings, right? If you're around Karens, then you will be a Karen. If you are around people
You're
that
right.
are not, then you will be not, and you will see things like that. It's like, oh, I bought a green car. Now you see green cars everywhere, right? It's one of those things too.
Mm-hmm.
Are you turning into a Karen? Do
Turn a
you look in
quarter
the
of
mirror
habit. Yeah.
sometimes and think, hey, I'm getting a little bit grouchier too? Then law of attraction, then maybe it may be kind of exposing that a little bit and drawing that to you. I'm not saying you're Mr. Grouch,
Right.
but I'm saying sometimes, the way your energy attracts same energy.
No,
And,
you'd have to agree with that. And I think everybody, when you go that path, and who you hang out with and what you do, we've talked about it in the past, where it's whether that's relationships or whether that's family dynamics or whatever the case may be. I think,
yeah,
you know, we had a we had a pretty good visit with everybody. Like, our family, our family can be pretty much against the wall and yell and scream. And I think I've taken a back row seat to that. And Johnny Mack and Carolyn, who have jumped on board, and it was good. It was a fun, it's a great weekend watching the kids sing and dance and us dancing and stuff like that. And when you sit back and understand, and that's what it's all about. That's
yeah.
no matter what, and whatever else there is, or um what I'm trying to, I was going to tiptoe around it, but I might as well share it with. so,
Hey.
so as you know,
Got
my
to.
mom and I have a tough relationship, and I've
Yeah.
I've just tried to say, okay, hey, what can we do? And so, whether it was me when I was younger and chirping back at her, that she shut down. That wasn't good. And so now I'm not. but there's still sort of that, ooh, we still can't even talk or listen. And so I mentioned to her, I'm like, hey, maybe, go see a doc. And if they prescribe, I don't fucking know what you got. So
Yeah.
you may have nothing. But we went to one therapist a while back and she mentioned a few things. And I was like, it's kind of spot on to what I thought. And then it just stopped. So, and I just shared with mom and I was like, hey, mom, why don't you give it a try? And if they prescribe something and it changes anxiety levels, whatever, there's 1,000 medications out there. Or maybe it's something natural. I told her to smoke weed, but she won't
Yeah.
go for that.
Go exercise more, maybe. I don't know.
Whatever. I think she's doing some. She's in good shape. She's in great shape,
You should.
and trust me, my love for my mom will never change. But just to be able to enjoy the time, and
Yeah.
me talking to my sister about it, it was, oh, I thought she was great, and whatever. Everybody's got their own little quirks, and I'm like, well, if it was better, why not have it for the better? And then worst case scenario, in 3 months, 6 months, it didn't work. Well, where are we at? Just go back to where we were. So just trying, because I don't want to be able to say, what's mom and dad? Mom and dad are 75. I'm 50. Hope you're around for another 20 years and having that relationship. Why not try and make it better?
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, there's always time. Like I don't know if we've talked about it before, but there were some things with my dad that I didn't like, and growing up didn't like, and it took
mm-hmm.
me going through my divorce, and I've been seeing therapists forever. I love it, and all of a sudden something clicked, and I was like, you know what? I understand where he came from, why he was doing that. Not that I would do it, but I understood why he was thinking that and why he acted certain ways. Like, my dad, there's things that, you and him kind of get into it too, right?
Oh yeah.
Now, the understanding of where he came from and the awareness of that gave me a lot of peace. And I
Where
full
did you
out
think?
gave him
Where did you
full.
think that was? Like, where do you think he was coming from?
Well, I just like being a dad, like being under the stress of pressure, the
Right.
way that him and my mother's relationship was, the way he treated me as opposed to my brother, Mark, 4 years older, more athletic growing up. And, there was a lot of favoritism towards that.
Right.
I get that. I understand the pressure of being a father, of supporting, of, going through bankruptcy a couple of times, all of those things that you don't understand as a kid. But as you go through life and have your own kids, mine are like 28 and 22 now, you start to see things a little different and say, you know what? Yeah, I get why he had to make a choice. I wouldn't have made that choice, but I kind of understand a little bit more. And I gave him full out blanket forgiveness. And that
Right.
was a huge moment where it was deep. It was very emotional, but I meant it. I was like, you know what? I don't have time for this anymore.
Well,
I
you
get
have
it.
to.
It was your wrong call. That was 20 years ago. This is today, 2023 or whatever it was a few years ago. And time's up. Let's just, understanding and be aware of that, but allowing it to just move past it was huge. And it was huge for us. And I mean, and I meant it. Like we didn't give him a full pass. Like I agree, but it was like I understand. And there's a
Right.
difference between agreeing and understanding. But understanding was huge, and I let it go, and there was a huge weight off my shoulder, and it was kind of the same time as I was getting divorced, and all of that, and it was really enlightening, and
Probably helped
it
both of
felt
you.
like a monkey off my back.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, no, your
it
old
was
man
huge.
can be, I call it a spade and whatnot. Like that's why almost immature in a way, but that was his good side too. His immaturity that was the funny part. And
Hmm.
but to be able to, and I wouldn't understand it because I've never done it because as we are both dads now, I've
Yeah.
never done it. Like for example, remember when you and I are having that hoot of a time at Angus Glen and for those of you out there, Davey was the long ball hitter. He was the big long driver of the golf ball. And so, whatever, right? Whether I was a little bit better or not, but you're hitting these long, but every once in a while, like it was kind of like he was putting us against a competition. And you and I never even thought of it like that. And we
Oh,
were
I
just
know.
having a great old time. And he was kind of like, and then my dad had to kind of pull him aside and go, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you don't need to
Yeah.
put me down to bring your son up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you should bring everybody up. Anyway, and
Yeah, and that's why Mark and I are the opposite of that. I think when there's competition, it's like I want you to do better than me because it's more fun. It's like, let's go, go, go. Let's both
Right.
win.
Right.
That's why I liked the stock market when I was into that for a few years, was that I wasn't hurting anybody by investing and making money. I was helping other people by telling them what I was doing. And I wasn't taking from somebody. I didn't have to sell somebody or buy from somebody or negotiate a better deal where someone might not make as much. There
Right.
was no competition. It was me doing my thing. Win, win, win. We all win. And I like that. And that's why I'm teaching now at university. And I love it. Like, I'm teaching empowerment and I'm teaching confidence to these 17 to 25
Good.
year old international students. And it's great. I love it, because it's like, you all have a voice. You're all individuals. Let's go. Let's be the best we can and help each other out. We're not in competition. We are in support of each other. Right.
Well,
And
that's
it's so much fun.
your two things. I'll remind me to talk about the stock market. Well, I'll get back to that, but
Yeah.
uh, you teaching, coaching, whatever label you want to put on it, I think that's great for our world. Let's just say, because being able to help others, and especially the younger generation, have a positive influence, not what we've seen now with teachers and here, yeah, you can go have a sex change in kindergarten or whatever, like we've talked about that in the past. There's a whole bunch of things or whatever narrative they're trying to push rather than just better the person in front of you.
Yeah.
I think that's important. And so I went and watched my buddy's kid play, and it was the old team, my old team that I coached, the high school team, a couple years ago when Jack was here, and seeing all the kids and giving them hugs. And so I'm glad it it resonated on their lives. And mine, it was only briefly, but it's still, there's still a connection. There's still, I guess, an appreciation of, and so that was great. And I think I need to. I think I want. I must. I will.
I
Um,
am.
I will do that next year. Get back into coaching. So I got to figure out how to do that
Yeah.
and be able to go see Moose and whatnot. But touching base on the stock market, I have you heard? I don't know whether there's a couple apps or one app, or someone was talking about how they've built an app and it's just matching Congress's investments.
I heard something like Nancy,
Autopilot or
following Nancy
something.
Pelosi or something like that.
Yeah, you can see all their trades and within the last 30 days and just jump on them. You can mimic. And
Yeah.
the guy kind of, and why you made me think of that was because he was just like, well, they're doing it. I want to jump on board too. Like, if
Yeah.
let's go.
Win
But
win.
well, and that can be not a win-win where you win-win, yes, for that circumstance. But when you've got people choosing, uh, you know, whether it's a bill to be passed or, whether you're talking insider information or you're
Oh yeah,
talking
no,
like
no, yeah. I'm not
even
talking Congress. That's a
right,
little bit.
that's where it gets
That's
a little
different.
shady, and that's
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking I had, like for me with the stock market, I was never one of those people who were like, I believe in A, so go buy it. While you're buying it, I'm selling it. That's not
right,
happening. It's
right.
like, I'm buying A, so you can go buy A. I'm selling A now, so now maybe it's time for you to sell A. Like, there was no time lag where I was taking advantage of things that I was saying, because I didn't believe in that. I believe in karma huge. What goes around comes around, like
Right.
monster. I believe in manifesting and foreshadowing your future, and I could back it up with so many things in my life. And a lot of it
My
comes down
job.
to good, positive energy and just being on that good vibe wave. It sounds kind of cheesy, maybe good vibes, but everything's frequency to some degree. Well, everything is frequency. And, you get on your sexy voice. Ooh, there's some serious frequency now.
Then you end then you end up going to your what was your little place you went with your old lady? What's the sexual
Oh,
chocolate
the
or
let's don't even start.
right,
Yeah, you know what? That's a whole Chris McKenzie, late night with Chris
right.
McKenzie and
After
Dave
dark.
Rivers. Here we go. Yeah, after dark. We can go a couple episodes from the last few months, but at the end of the day, it really is about pumping out good vibes. And I say
I agree,
that
100%.
I preach that. Give, give, give. Don't expect, and you will get. There's one of these things I'm working on right now. I'm working on like a TED Talk type of thing about communication. And there's two themes that I'm revolving things around. And maybe this could help you with your mom. Ready? So here's two things. Think about these. When you're listening to somebody or talking to somebody, you need to listen to them through their perspective, not through your perception. Meaning, what you're hearing, you can't take what your life has been and relate what they're saying through your life experience, you need to figure out what they're saying through their life experience. And when you can do that, you get a better understanding of who they are and why they're saying what they're saying. You have an impression from your life of how things roll. You don't really know somebody else. You need to figure that out. So that's one thing, is understanding people's perspective through their perspective, not through
Can I
your
stop you on that
perception.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have had to do that because we were so yin and yang. And, like I said, when I was younger, when I heard it or something completely off the wall, and then as a young kid, I was like barking back. I've gone the other way and just tried to have the conversation of, well, mom, let's take a step back or do whatever, and try and express something, or not contradictory, but just to hey, how are you getting to that? Or prime example, I invited her. Uh, so she ended up coming, which is great. Got to see the kids. But a month prior, when she called me to say, "Hey, I'm going down to Naples," I'm like, "Great." She goes, "Why don't you come down?" And I'm like, "Mom, everybody's coming up. Why don't you? It'd be great if you could come up." And she kind of got frustrated, and whatever the case may be, and she was talking about the airport, and then um, she goes, "Yeah, you told me the airport's far away," which it's 50 minutes one way, no traffic kind of thing. It's all right.
Yeah.
Well, you can make it
Yeah.
work. And I'm like, "When did I talk to you about that?" She goes, "Oh, your birthday party." And I'm like, "My birthday?" And I'm trying to think. I'm like, "Oh, are you talking about my 40th birthday party 13 years ago? That was a surprise to me, and that I knew nobody was coming in for. Is that the birthday party?" So then she got flustered and hung up on me. And so I'm like, "I'm not letting this. I call her right back. Mom, but this is what truly went down. I didn't say like anything. I didn't know you were coming. So we didn't talk about it." Hung up again. I'm like, "Call back
Yeah.
one more time." I'm like, "This ain't fucking working." I just, look truly what happened. All I did was invite you. And now we got into all I was trying to
Something
do. And
deeper.
right, something we didn't need to get into. Just, it could have been, "Oh yeah, well, maybe I'll work on it." Or, "No, I just can't work." I'm okay. No worries. You don't need to get to that level.
Hmm.
And well, a couple weeks later, I got a text saying, "Hey, would it be all right if I came up?" I'm like, "Of course, Mom. I wish it would have went like this conversation 3 weeks ago, but oh well, maybe we can work on it for the future." And just that sort of thing. But it's hard, whether it's myself um, expressing to my mom, I'm not, she says, and I know she does. She loves me dearly. I'm her boy, all that. But remember, I'm the other half of that sort of yin and yang that, well, if he's right, I'm wrong. Well, then, and it's tough for her to, I think, fully grasp that. And her being a teacher, you would think the listening would be there, but it needs to be better. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And when, I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus. I'm not trying to do anything. I just wanted a better relationship with my mom. That's it. And then,
Yeah.
we've got my Nana, who's her mom. She's 90, whatever the hell she is. I think she's going to live till she's a million, but that's great. And she's I say young whippersnapper. I've had great conversations with her, and she's got stages of dementia. But how could I have, who the hell's at my front door, Dave? You want to handle it? Just let it go. Um, and
Amazon.
right,
Vibrators here.
I hear them talking on the outside of my steps. Hello. Um, and so she's very protective of her daughter, and which is, hold on a sec, Dave. Let's just pause this.
I'll just talk.
Yeah, talk.
So, in reference to Mr. Mackenzie and his mother, I think we need to take a step back in time and really discuss the origins of these issues from maybe let's start at age 6. So
Oh,
let's
there
just take
was
us back to 1981, Chris.
that would be 10.
So you're 10. So that's good enough. Close enough.
Anyway, no, when we and that's what I mean. When in life, whatever, whether it's, I'm happy that my ex and I can talk now. That took till just this year. That's 8 years deep.
Ooh, I'm at 0 talking with my ex.
You're at this. You went back the other way.
No, I was at 0.
Oh, you
What
stayed
day I
zero.
walked?
Okay.
Yeah, it's been 0.
And that
It's
doesn't
digital
help. You know what I
0.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I love it.
no, I'm saying for the kid, not you, but I was fine with it or even before, but to see my kids, and my
Yeah.
kids are still younger.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's different.
And so when you're trying to go through those things, and like I said, whether it's her life moving forward or whatever, they're still going to be a part. Like, that's why I was so frustrated or upset that I realized my kids were getting hurt by, like, we've still got weddings and shit that we got to deal with. And so
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah. I just started to. I had a conversation with my son 2 days ago. He's married, right? He's 22,
right.
and
You
there
got
were
a
some
kid?
things that came up. No, and even my daughter. My daughter was here for 3 weeks in Vienna, and we did. It was amazing. It was like the best trip. It was the best vacation ever with my daughter coming over here, and she's 28, and we had discussions about things about her mom, which I'd never talked to my son or my daughter about because I was always that stand back, like, you know what? Let her say whatever she wants about me. I'm just going to eat it. I'm going to be the adult here and not comment and put fuel on the fire. Yeah, I could go toe to toe and probably shred her if I wanted to and
Right. What do you get from
whatever, but
that?
I'm not doing that. Like that's not I'm not doing that. But my kids started to ask certain things about topics from the traits that she may have had. And I had some conversations with them that I think needed to be had and very maturely had them at a proper time without going into too much detail with them. But it was something that the kids needed to know. Like sometimes the kids need to understand both sides if they trust that it's not vicious and it's not trying to discriminate the other person, but more so just as a learning. Like, this is what your mom's like in these situations. Because sometimes my
Right.
kids were having difficulty and they're like, why is she acting like that? And I wasn't able to say, you know what, well, this is kind of her personality or the way she deals with X or whatever.
Is
And
she
I've had
how
those.
involved is
And
she? I know
she's
your kids
fairly
are
well.
older,
She's
but
yeah. The kids are all moved out, right? So she's involved a little bit. She sees them a little bit, but not a ton. Not a lot.
once a month, once every two
Yeah, a
months.
couple times a month. Yeah, my daughter a little bit more because I think she's been living there for a few months, and then she's going to be moving out with the boyfriend. I think in next month or the month after. And but yeah, there's conflict sometimes, and they thought sometimes the conflict was because I was there, and now the conflict is still there, and it's like, okay, like I can't say I told you so, but I can help you with what you're dealing with them now, just to give them some insight to them not feeling alone. And now it's time to kind of talk to them about it a little bit. But it's weird. It's weird talking to your kids about a divorce without really giving them too much detail that might make them think otherwise of the other partner,
Right.
because you got to be fair to them too. I don't want them to be scarred and think, "Ooh, my mom was this because my dad said this." Yes, even
Right.
though she's saying your dad is this, and it's like I can't defend myself. But you know what? The high road is the best road to take. You know what? That's old energy. Leave it behind. We're living today and in the future, so I can control that. I'm not going to let that old energy take over because it's a drain.
I told you,
And
buddy,
sometimes that old energy, you got to let it go.
right. I told you when we were talking about my divorce or whatever, I don't know, earlier on, that the most, the best thing I could hear as a dad was from my oldest saying, "Dad, I'm proud of the way you handled things."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh, that would be amazing.
that's all you can ask for anyway. But when
Yeah.
what'd you do? What was the the best things you did with the little one, or not the little one, but your daughter?
Oh, here? Oh, it was incredible. Like, well, I'm
Ski?
pretty good at
When was it?
traveling.
Summer?
Yeah, it was
Oh, Jesus.
September. I'm pretty organized with travel and
Yeah, you're like me.
into
Let's put a
Vienna,
plan.
did some Vienna stuff. Boom, boom, boom. We
Yeah.
just did road trip to Budapest, rented bikes, rode our bikes all around Budapest, into Graz, another city, did
Right.
all that, like Vienna, I'm here. Then she flew to Rome met her boyfriend in Rome for a week, and she did Italy on her own for another week, came back to Vienna. I threw a party. We got matching tattoos. I got a tattoo on my leg.
What is it? What is it?
It's a coffee cup. So like I have a couple buddies, a tattoo artist, I have an artist. So I threw like a big house party here, like with all my friends and stuff. And the tattoo artist was here doing tattoos for people. So we got matching tattoos, and I had an artist, and she like drew big portraits of a bunch of us. And
Awesome.
yeah, like I like entertaining. Like
You and I
I've
are the same,
entertained a
buddy. It's
lot.
the same,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I love it.
I
Yeah,
missed when I first moved into the neighborhood. We had shit, so we didn't know most, but of course, befriended pretty quickly when people are buying houses and I'm hanging across the roof with my Christmas lights and almost dying. And welcome to the neighborhood. Hi, I'm the
yeah,
Canadian over here, kind of thing. I had couples Olympics and did that for a
amazing.
few years, and it was a hoot. I love having people over, right? That's what it's all
I love
about.
it. Yeah, and it's again sharing. I love entertaining. Like I'll put on the spread, I'll put the booze out. Like, what can I bring? Nothing. Don't bring anything. Just friggin' show up, have a good attitude, good mix of people.
Right.
What I'm not good at picking music for parties though. I gotta hand over the DJ. Like I don't get it. Like I can have great parties. Conversation could go for hours and hours. I can open-ended question people all day long. Tell me to put on the music, party dies. I'm like, no chance. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. It's a
There's always
problem.
someone else for that. What
Yeah.
can so in I haven't been to Barcelona. If I do, what should we do? Or
Well, yeah,
there's
okay. So
tons to
site, well,
do, man.
there's the big church there. The church is massive. It's
Of
like the
course,
biggest church in
St.
the
Paul
world.
or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
it's good, but
Malta.
it's a little overrated. Let's call it spade a
Well, you can
spade.
see. I've traveled, as you know. I played in England. I've
Yeah,
seen the old cathedral. So yes, I've seen.
yeah.
Okay,
Some of
there's
them
a
are
church.
sick.
Moving on.
Yeah, yeah, right. The beach is great. It's just the lifestyle. There's a huge boardwalk along the beach. The beach is miles and miles. You can
Yeah, but
rent
it's
some
not going to
bikes.
be
We rented
beach
like
time.
donkey bikes. Hmm?
What's temp
What's
like?
that?
And I
The
thought it's
temperature in April, you're probably talking like
well. That's when she's leaving.
75, 80. Right now it's cold. Like we were going to go down there actually next weekend, I think it was, because we do house flops, right? So we're on this home exchange thing, which is amazing,
Right.
and we'll flip our house in Vienna because it's pretty good. It's like right downtown, so everybody wants it. So we can kind of get good places. And so we had places in Barcelona right on the beach.
How does
The
that work?
nightlife
Is it a
is great.
timing? Like if you house swap for 2 weeks, you get 2 weeks elsewhere?
So there's two ways. You can do straight exchange where someone will come into your place and you'll go to theirs,
Right.
or you can trade for points. So you get points for your place depending on how good it is. Then you
Gotcha.
can use those points somewhere else. So
I've never
yeah, there
heard
was
of
one time it was straight
house
exchange.
swap.
It's
Is that
home
what we hear?
exchange.
Home
Home exchange.
exchange?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's freaking awesome. We use it all the time. And then we build up points too. It's called home exchange. So literally, boom, we had a week. I was there for 8 weeks in Barcelona, and we exchanged for like 2 weeks at a time, and then I went to 2 weeks into France because it was a pretty easy drive. But yeah, it's just a lifestyle. You just get out and you start walking around at 10 at night, and it's warm, and there's music everywhere. There's like these little carnivals that are just popping up in between some of these old neighborhoods, and you get lost in them. And it's not
What's
like Canada.
population?
I'm not sure. You can
Million?
drink on the streets. Like, you go in, you grab a bottle of wine and you're pouring wine in the glass and you're walking down the street, right? You're allowed to do that.
Right.
Cannabis, they have these social clubs. So you can join a social club for like €5. And then you can go in and buy edibles
So I
or
imagine
buy
the
cannabis
school's
if you
right
want.
there.
Oh, the school is, yeah, dead center. I could do an
One
exchange. I
point
could actually,
one
I
point
could
six
exchange
million.
next semester to Barcelona. I could do it. I still could. I could be in school with her. Hey,
Well,
what's going on?
I'll have to give you Ella your number.
Well, that's the thing. If she wants to do like a little a trip to Vienna with some buddies, like I'll set them up. And if I'm
Right.
not here at my place, like I can plan it where I'll go to Graz, I'll go somewhere else,
Right.
and she can have my flat. And it's pretty good. Like
Right.
her and like 3, 4 buddies could have a pretty good time here. So definitely throw that
Well,
on the table for her.
I think it'd be better, if you're around to be able to show her. You don't need to take her to the chocolate club or whatever the hell it is. But
Yeah, no, but still, like, yeah, sure. If I'm here for a little bit, but if she
yeah.
wants
Oh yeah, for
accommodations
sure. We'll
too with
talk.
her buddies, and I've got some friends, because being in university that are probably in similar age that I could hook her up with to
We'll
hang
have to
out.
talk to
And
talk about
yeah,
secret airline packages if there's any that I don't know what city's the cheapest to
she
fly
can
into.
Wizz Air, Ryanair, those two. But don't forget that.
Yeah.
Definitely tell her, she wants to come to Vienna. She can have my flat, and I'll set her up with, maps and all that stuff if I'm here for a couple of days before, whatever. But it's worth it. It'll be worth for a flight from Barcelona to here, $35-$40. She just brings a backpack. She can spend the weekend in Vienna, especially in March, April. It's beautiful. I'm
Right.
away. I'm in the Philippines for January, February.
Oh, right.
So
You're doing that.
yeah,
You're
that's gonna
go-
be pretty crazy. It's pretty fun.
huh.
Yeah, the school pays for it.
That'll be great.
Yeah, so 7 weeks there. I'm back February
I don't know why my
20th.
light's going like this, but
So yeah, late March when it's nicer, a little nicer, 100% have her take me up on that.
sounds good.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
we're
All right.
we've just you and I. Once we start talking family, we go right through the roof, and it's 45 minutes deep now.
Yeah.
Well, your thoughts on um what the hockey guys? What are your thoughts? You think I bring them in and do the
I think you do, but I think it's a lot of work. Like, if you want
no?
me to be straight up,
No,
it's
I
not
agree.
like content is everything. We've talked about having little clips on TikTok and having little clips on Instagram and on Facebook. You have to be on TikTok. I don't care what anybody else tells you. You need to be posting some sort of little small clip, even if it's just your face and you've got something stupid to say or smart to say. And if it's just even 10, 20, 15 seconds, whatever, you've got to be hitting it consistently
All
once a
right,
day,
right,
once every,
exactly.
4 or 5 times a week.
Well,
It
can't you do
takes
the? Isn't the
time.
Instagram reels just like the TikTok thing? Isn't
It
that?
is, but they don't get the same audience. It doesn't
Don't
get
they?
the feed right now. It's all TikTok. You can even, you know what? Like, there's a green screen. Like, you could do a green screen where you could take a hockey play that happens, whatever. Like, it could have been, I don't want to say the guy who got his throat
Right.
cut. You could take that clip and you could green screen yourself over it, pointing at it, going, "Look at this is what happened here. I think that this guy did this, this, this.
Well, you
Boom.
want to talk about that
Tune
for a
into
second
Macker and Friends on Sunday night for more." Boom,
before
10-second clip.
before I say
Right.
anything? Do you want to say anything about that?
I don't know too much about it.
No.
It's just hard to say. I don't know too much about it. It
So
is weird that your skate gets up that high and it looked like a backwards karate kick, but I'm not
that's
sure.
exactly what it was, and I'm not saying he meant to hit him in the neck, but that he meant for him not to get by him and to have no care, not remorse. It's a word, wherewithal about people's better living. Like we
Yeah.
got dangerous things on the end of our feet. You've got a
Yeah,
dangerous thing in your
knives.
hand, like a stick or so that's why there's fighting. That's why you promote fight. You get that pissed off, go drop your gloves and hit somebody in the face. You can do
Yeah.
that. But in my life, I have never thought like, and I've seen people try and, stand on somebody. It's just it's a road you don't go down ever. And
Yeah.
I was sad to see it, of course, and somebody lost their life, which is the worst part about it. But for him to not have any wherewithal about that guy's best interest, even though, he may have got beaten on a play. Yeah,
Mhm.
you just you turn that way and you continue going and you try and get him. If not, like
I think I
I
saw
was
Jeremy
pissed.
Roenick talk about it, and he said, like, we don't learn that. That's not a hockey play. That's not something, because it's not part of the game. That's not something we learn to do. So that's where it's kind of like you're saying, that's next level. Like, there was more intent of something, not a hockey play.
So the guy's got a
Or,
history supposedly.
mm,
Um, and even if you didn't look at that, like I was saying, I watched that thing frame by frame, and the guy's momentum's heading this way. He cuts in, and the only thing he had left to sort of, he couldn't have reached back and grabbed him this way was his rear leg, and
yeah.
it's awful. And
Now,
there's some I've seen. You got to remember when I played, it was maybe not stories to that extent, but there were 5 other stories that you'd see maybe throughout the year and go, like I saw some guy, need to blow up names here, but we were in Flint and one guy in warm up got, stick right in the face and like could have taken his eye out, could have done a ton of things. And
oh yeah, I've seen some games in Deserano and Napanee, like
right.
Junior C,
Yeah.
like Kingston, back in the
Whiskey
'90s.
Row.
And there was stuff going on that was like, I got to get out of the arena. I'm scared. Like, not even on the ice, and I'm scared. But what about, like, do you remember Bertuzzi, right, when he hit the
Yeah,
guy?
yeah.
Whatever ended up with that, do you know? Because that it was kind not similar, but kind of similar, right?
Well,
Doing something intentionally, like to the head.
well, what's his name? I don't know if he continued to play. Um, Bertuzzi got suspended for what? Might see now you're asking me questions that I got to remember things. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't good for anything as I've been hitting the head.
Yeah.
And see, I like your light. Your light on your camera's better than mine. I like white. I got to get
Yeah.
tanned. But
Oh, I
and
can't wait to get
that's
banned.
right. That's the thing about when you're playing a rough sport. You got to be able to keep your emotions in check to some degree. You know, where if you're going to just turn it into a roller derby, then like there can be a ton of injuries,
Yeah.
and that's not good for anything. Mind you, the game's changed and it's gotten a lot better now, but
But what about something like football? You have Tom Brady last week talking about how the NFL is mediocre. And he's saying how the penalties and not being
that's
able to
gone.
hit people
Yeah,
certain too hard.
that's gone too much the other way, kind of thing. Like it's tough.
That's what he's saying. He's like, it should be tougher.
Right.
And then,
Because of the fact that you're now pulling back and guys can get hurt from that, like trying to not hit a guy a certain way. Like I'm
yeah,
fine with taking out the headshot, sure, and going down on low on quarterbacks, but you still got to be able to hit them.
yep,
Like it's
yeah. And Brady was like up front, yeah, it benefited me,
right,
like for sure it did.
right.
And older QBs would say that, but the way he's talking about it being mediocre football. Do you watch NFL much?
Yeah, I do.
So what do you think? Yesterday, blowing out. You got San Francisco blowing out Philly.
That hurt me for my fantasy team because I've got Philly, but that was a statement. And
Yeah,
those were the two top teams right off the bat. They've kind of gone through their nuances of, I think Frisco lost 3 or 4 in a row or something, 3 in a row, and then
yeah,
now have bounced back. But they're a pretty solid team. If you look at Frisco's top guys in each division, they've got, I think, out of all their star positions, including linebackers and safeties and things like that, they've got top 5 paid. I don't know how they've pulled it off, but I know how they
yeah.
pulled it off. It's pretty easy. They're paying their quarterback $1 million. Some other teams are
What
paying him
about it?
40.
Should he be MVP? Like, this is a guy. His numbers. You put a different name, or you just put a number to
Keeps
everybody,
putting up the year, possible.
right? But I keep hearing that. Oh, it's the running backs. They're the MVP. It's not the Zach Prescott is the MVP because
Dak.
he's the one carrying it, and so. But Purdy, no. Purdy, no. What does he have to win the Super Bowl to get the credit?
I think there's a lot of guys this year that are kind of right there. So I think a run in the playoffs is going to help anybody. But
Yeah,
I thought they chose right before it. So you're going to have to see how that sets up, like coming to the end of it, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah, or maybe get Mac Jones. Maybe he
well,
can go.
yeah, he's available.
Yeah. What
He's
about
sitting on the
Belichick? I would
bench.
hear more about him
Belichick or
getting
Brady,
canned
who
or
is it?
moving somewhere else.
Whatever. I don't know about that.
No.
It's if that that could it happen, sure. But I think the relationship he has with Kraft is he'll either step down or do something else or whatever the
Yeah.
case may be. But um,
Yeah.
but I think we should move along and move when you're around. We'll do it again, but we're just shy of an hour, and we don't like keeping people on here too long. And I think it's great that we got back together.
Yeah.
Um,
Little opener, loosen up.
little chatty chat. If I can figure out my lighting situation, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Excuse my French. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, with life, family, all that good stuff. I think as long as people are doing the right thing and making things better, I've always shared that with my son, even playing sports to this day, that make others around you better, and you're going to be better for it.
Yeah.
As a coach or a teacher, same thing. That's your only goal. Be there for support and help others around you.
Yeah.
So, Davey, maybe we actually do one in Barcelona or something. That would be kind of cool. And
Make sure you tell her though. Like that's a
I will.
legit offer.
We'll talk for sure, brother.
Yeah.
Lots of love, amigo. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right. Take it easy.
Ciao, ciao to the peeps. Ciao, ciao to the peeps.
Later. Thank you.